Hi students, today you'll be using your Carnegie textbook, and if you don't have your Carnegie textbook, after you watch the video you can find the assignment in Canvas. It's a Cami assignment, but if you have your textbook, it's going to begin on page 23. The learning objective today is to apply your understanding of making ratios to create a proportion from information given and finding the solution to the answer. Your I can is I can take information and create a proportion to solve the unknown by scaling up or scaling down. Slides number 7 and 9 of vocabulary. You'll find tables on slides number 5, 6, 8, and 12, and there's some practice for you to do on page 11, 12, and 13, but these are also in your Carnegie textbook, anything that you're expected to do. Here's a fun fact. The ostrich is the largest living bird and also the fastest runner. All right, let's look at some information in a table. What are we comparing, and how do you write these rates in fraction form? We've got 4 different birds, and each bird we have the distance they traveled over a specific period of time. And how do you write this in fraction form? I'll do the first one for you, and you can do the remaining 3 in your textbook. The ostrich can go 22 miles, and we're comparing that to the time it took, and that was 30 minutes. And that's how you write the ratio as a fraction. Now we have one of your vocabulary words. This is not new to you. It is convert, which just simply means to change it to an equivalent measurement in different units. For example, going from yards to feet or hours to minutes. And in this table, you will see some of the common measurement conversions. You've also seen this many times in your STAR math chart. Here's some vocabulary. Probably you remember it from last year, but let's review it. To scale means to make something larger or smaller. Scaling up means you're going to increase by the same rate. Scale down means you're going to decrease something, a ratio, at the same rate. You will use multiplication or division to scale. Okay, let's look at a couple of examples together of scaling up and scaling down. We're going to use the situation of the ostrich traveling 22 miles in 30 minutes. To scale up means we're going to increase the miles and increase the minutes. So and to increase, that means we're going to be multiplying. So to find out how far the ostrich can travel in 1 hour, we're going to scale the minutes up by 2 because we're going from 30 minutes to 60 minutes. If we scale that up by 2, then we scale the distance up by 2 to get 44 miles in 1 hour. Now let's look at an example when we scale down. Remember, when we are decreasing, we'll be using the operation of division. We're going to go from 30 minutes to 1 minute. So we're scaling down by 30 minutes. Divide by 30, so we scale down our distance by 30. Which means the ostrich speed is about 0.73 hundredths of a mile per minute. Okay, let's practice scaling together. I'll do 2, and then you can do 2. At this time, you will need your math journal and a pencil. If you don't have those things, pause the video and gather those materials. All right, let's look at the first one together. The great runner. Are we scaling up or down in this situation? We're going to look at the relationship between the two ratios. The first ratio, 300 to 30, compared to the ratio of x yards to 60 seconds. So the relationship between 30 seconds and 60 seconds, 60 is 2 times greater. So since we're multiplying, we're scaling up. If we scale the bottom number, or the second number in the ratio, up by 2, we're going to scale 300 yards up by 2 to give us 600 yards. Okay, now let's look at this one. The pheasant. Are we scaling up or down in this situation? Instead of looking at the relationship between the two ratios like we did here, I'm going to look at the relationship within this ratio. And look at the relationship between 200 and 50. 200 is bigger. I'm going to 50. So I'm scaling down. 200 divided by 50 is 4, so that means I'm dividing 200 by 4 to give me 50. If I divide 200 by 4 to get 50, I'm going to have to divide 1200 by 4, which gives me 300. So in this situation, since we were scaling down, since we're dividing, we scaled down. All right, now you're going to do these two on your own. Do the great runner. Then do the pheasant here. So if you'll pause the video, complete these in your journal, then resume the video and check your work. Okay, so let's see how you did. In this first one, you can look at the relationship between 300 and 30, and you can see you're scaling down, or you can look at the relationship between 30 and 1 and scale up. Either way, I'm just going to do scale up. I like to look at the relationship between the ratios. I'm going to scale 30 seconds. I'm scaling down, I am going from 30 seconds to 1 second, so I divide by 30. So I will divide 300 by 30 to give me 10 yards. And in this case, I scaled down. All right, now let's look at the pheasant. Here, I'm going to look at the relationship between 50 seconds and 1 second. I'm scaling down by 50, divide by 50. So I'll divide 200 by 50 to get 4 yards. So the pheasant can travel 4 yards in 1 second. I hope you got those right. Okay, this is a problem that you'll do in your textbook. It's page 30, problem number 1. You can use your math chart that's also, I believe, on the page before that. And you can see the questions are pretty simple. How many quarts are in 12 cups? How many gallons in 16 quarts? How many pounds in 2 tons? And how many ounces in 4 pounds? So this is page 30, problem number 1, that you'll complete in your textbook. Here's another page that you'll do in your textbook. It's page number 29, problem number 1. And make sure you state whether you were scaling up or down, between or within the ratios, and solve the problem. Okay, that's it. The big takeaway today is when you scale up, you multiply. When you scale down a ratio, you divide. So now it's time to complete your work. Now it's time for you to complete the following in your textbook. If you do not have a textbook, complete the CAMI assignment in Canvas. Page 25, number 1, page 29, number 1, and page 30, number 2. If you need any help with the instructions, please ask Ms. Hickman or watch the video again.